Welcome to Betrayal Ledger. Let us get started with today's story. When Cindy and I first met, things were different. She was lively, quick with a joke, and carried herself like she knew every room belonged to her the second she walked in. I was drawn to that energy. We balanced each other, her boldness against my steady nature. In the early years, we traveled, laughed over late dinners, and built the kind of routines couples fall into. She loved shopping trips and inspiration weekends while I worked long hours and made sure the bills were paid. But over time, the balance shifted. She stopped asking about my day. I stopped expecting her to. The house turned quiet, but not the comfortable kind of quiet. More like two people sharing the same space out of habit. I kept working, kept paying while she floated through life, like everything was owed to her. Looking back, I realized how slowly it had shifted. We used to argue about little things. Movies, restaurants, weekend plans. At least arguments meant engagement. Lately, silence replaced them. Meals passed with her scrolling on her phone and me staring at the wall, wondering when exactly we had stopped being us. And then there came Nathan. He started as just a friend from her old office, someone she said she grabbed coffee with. At first I believed it, but his name lit up her phone more often, usually late at night or during dinners when I was sitting right across from her. She'd laugh at his messages in a way she had not laughed at mine in years. I did not ask questions. I just noticed. That Tuesday evening felt like any other. I was in the kitchen. Cindy sat across from me, scrolling through her phone, barely present. It was routine, unremarkable, until she spoke. Without looking up, she said, "I'm moving out tonight." Just like that. No build-up, no argument, no explanation. The words hung in the air. I leaned against the counter and looked at her. She did not look back, still glued to her screen. "What do you mean by moving out?" I asked. "I need space, Harry. Just do not contact me." "Okay," I said. Calm, flat, nothing else. That made her pause. Her eyes flicked up at me, expecting a scene. Maybe shouting, maybe begging something. Instead, all she got was a single word. She frowned. "That's it?" "Just okay." "You said you're moving out," I replied. "What do you want me to do?" "Lock the doors. Tie you to the chair." Her face tightened. Annoyance. Not guilt. Not sadness. "It'll come back later for the rest of my stuff," she said. That's when I noticed the duffel bag sitting by the kitchen island, half-zipped and waiting. This was not a spur-of-the-moment outburst. She'd been planning it. "Fine," I said. No questions. No resistance. She stood, slung the bag over her shoulder, grabbed her purse, the keys to the car, and headed for the door. The latch clicked shut behind her. Silence filled the house. She wanted out. That was her decision. Now it was turn to make mine. When the door closed behind her, I did not chase after it. I did not text, did not ask where she was going. She had made herself perfectly clear. I carried my laptop to the table. If she wanted out, then out meant all the way. First stepper cards. Cindy loved her Amex. She treated it like a badge, flashing it at restaurants, boutiques, and online orders. But it was not hers. It was a supplementary card on my account. I logged in, found her profile, and with a click canceled it. Account holder no longer authorized. Gone. Her Visa, same thing, removed. Then I looked at the scheduled transfers. Every month a generous sum went from my main account to hers. She called it household support. In reality, it was for spa appointments, designer shoes, and those so-called inspiration trips that never inspired anything but credit card debt. I canceled the transfer. Her phone line was still on my family plan. I left it for now, but I shut down the international roaming immediately. I was not angry. Not really. It was not revenge. It was simple logic. She said she did not want contact, did not want the marriage, did not want me. That meant she did not get my wallet either. Actions, consequences. The house was quiet that night. For the first time in years, I realized the quiet was not bad. Not at all. 3 days later, I heard pounding on the front door. Not a polite knock. Hard, desperate thumps that rattled the frame. When I checked the peephole, there she was. Cindy hair, messy hoodie instead of her usual designer jackets, eyes wide like she had been running. I opened the door slowly. "Cindy, Harry," she gasped out of breath. "My card was declined tonight at dinner." "What the hell did you do?" I leaned against the doorway. I canceled it. Her jaw dropped. "You what? Why would you do that?" "You told me not to contact you. You moved out. Those cards were tied to me, not you. So I removed you." She blinked like the logic was foreign. "That card is mine, Harry. I need it for I cut in for dinner with Nathan. The same guy you have been glued to your phone with for months. The same one I heard you were out with this week." Her mouth opened, then shut. That half second of silence was enough. She tried to recover quickly. "Hez, just a friend. It does not matter. You embarrassed me." "Do you know how humiliating that was?" "Sounds like a problem between you and Nathan," I said. Calm, flat. Her face twisted. "This is not fair. My Visa did not work either, and the monthly transfer never hit my account. What am I supposed to do? Work budget adjust?" She wiped at her eyes, voice breaking into a whine. Nathan is helping me with a place to stay, but that's not enough. I need money, Harry. Please, just until I get back on my feet. I raised an eyebrow. So you do have somewhere to go. Good. Then you will be fine. Her lip trembled. Then her voice rose. You will regret this. We are married. You cannot just cut me off like that. I will get a lawyer. I stepped back, hand on the door. Do what you have to do. And I closed it. I exhaled slowly. Round one was over. The door slamming that night was not the end. It was just the start. By Monday, my receptionist told me Cindy had called the office 3 times, demanding to speak to me. Each time she told her I was in a meeting. Cindy's tone, she said, went from urgent to outright shrill. I never called back. Next came the texts from mutual friends. Harry, Cindy's upset. Cannot you just talk to her? Or she says you cut her off completely. Is that true? I kept my replies short and polite. Cindy ended the marriage. She asked for no contact. I respected her wishes. That was it. Most of them backed down. The few who pushed harder, I stopped answering. Then her brother showed up. I came home Wednesday evening and found Sammy standing in my driveway, arms crossed. He did not waste time. What the hell are you doing to my sister Harry? She's a wreck. You cannot just leave her with nothing. She left me, I said, unlocking my front door. She told me not to contact her. I am just honoring her request. You cut off her cards. You stopped her money. That's cruel. That was support tied to her being my wife. She does not want to be my wife anymore. That's her choice. Now she can support herself. Sammy shook his head. She made a mistake, man. You do not just abandon someone you have been with for 10 years. I turned to face him. I did not abandon her. She walked out. I am just not financing her new life. His face darkened. She will come after you legally. I am sure she will, I said. Good night, Sammy. I walked inside, locked the door. The next day, I found a Venmo request on my phone. Cindy asking for $500. The note read emergency. I declined it instantly. On Friday, I called a locksmith. It took him over an hour to replace every lock. For the first time since she walked out, I knew that if Cindy wanted to get back inside this house, she would need permission. If she wanted to test boundaries, fine. I was not budging. It did not take long before a letter arrived. Thick envelope, firm lettering on the front, a law office. Cindy had hired an attorney. The letter accused me of withholding financial support, causing emotional distress, and demanded I reinstate her allowance and cover her expenses until a settlement was reached. It even mentioned spousal support. I did not panic. I forwarded the letter straight to my lawyer, Helen. Sharp, direct, and no nonsense. The next day she called me after reviewing the documents. She explained that it was nothing more than boilerplate intimidation. Cindy had abandoned the marital home, told me not to contact her, and by her own admission was staying with Nathan. There was no legal foundation for her demands. Helen laid out the plan clearly. We would respond in writing, politely but firmly, without emotion. The reply would state that the house was premarital property, my accounts were separate, and the voluntary transfers had ceased only after Cindy ended the relationship. For the first time in days, I felt myself relax. Helen drafted the reply and sent it off that same week, calm, professional, and ironclad. Cindy did not take it well. I started hearing from friends, screenshots, social media posts. Cindy painted me as abusive, controlling a husband who threw her out with nothing. I ignored it all, blocked, muted, archived. If they wanted to play that game, fine. I had screenshots and dates all neatly stored in a folder. Jacob, my buddy who worked in law, told me to keep logging every call, every attempt. Cover yourself, Harry. People like this thrive on chaos. Do not give them room. So I did. Every voicemail from Cindy went into a file. Every text, saved, every Venmo request, declined and documented. I was not angry, not even rattled. I was just steady. She had chosen her path. I was just making sure I stayed on mine. 2 months later, Cindy finally scheduled a pickup for her belongings. The date and time were set. Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. She did not come alone. When the knock came, I opened the door to find her with Nathan. Cindy looked tense, makeup layered on thick, but eyes red around the edges. Nathan, quiet, avoided eye contact. Afternoon, I said. Behind me stood Jacob, and Helen had sent a paralegal to observe. I was not playing games. Cindy pushed past me. Boxes and suitcases came out fast. Shoes, clothes, makeup bags, half-used beauty products. It looked like she was packing an entire department store. Every few minutes, she would stop, holding up something. This is mine. I would shake my head. Gift from my parents. Bought with my account. The paralegal would note it down. Disputed items went into a separate box. Nathan grew more agitated. You are being petty, Harry. Just let her take what she wants. No, I said firmly. She takes what is hers, nothing more. By the time they crammed the last of it into Nathan's hatchback, the car sagged under the weight. Cindy's face was flushed somewhere between fury and exhaustion. Nathan muttered curses under his breath, glaring at me the whole time. I stood at the doorway watching. As the car pulled out of the driveway, I felt it. Not triumph, not joy, just a calm finality. The version of Cindy who strutted around with my cards and my money was gone. What drove off in that cramped car was a woman hauling her baggage, literally and figuratively, into someone else's life. And for the first time since the night she walked out, I actually felt free. Months passed. The dust settled in ways Cindy never expected. Word got around that Nathan was not sticking around. He had been the safety net she thought she had, but he was not interested in funding her lifestyle. By the third month, he was gone, and Cindy was back to square one. She took a full-time job at a department store's cosmetics counter. Respectable work, but a far cry from her inspiration trips and boutique shopping. Now she was sharing a small apartment with 2 other women across town. Meanwhile, I made moves of my own. I sold the old house. Too many memories, too much space for one man. Bought a smaller place closer to work. It felt good walking into a home that was just mine. Clean walls, no clutter, no ghosts of arguments, echoing through the rooms. The divorce moved quickly. No kids. The house was premarital. Accounts separate. Helen handled it with precision. Cindy's lawyer pushed for spousal support, but with her leaving voluntarily, her living with Nathan, and her earning potential, there was not much ground to stand on. Maybe she will get a token amount for a short period, maybe nothing at all. Either way, it will not matter. Some days I felt a twinge, not regret for what I had done, but for the years wasted for who I thought she was. Those moments passed quickly, because here is the truth. She wanted freedom, and I gave it to her. She wanted independence, and I delivered. No half measures, no safety net. She made her decision. I simply made mine. The best revenge was not screaming or dragging her through the mud. It was what I had right then. Peace. My own space. My own life back. Cindy thought walking out would leave me broken. Instead, it left me lighter. And that, in the end, was priceless. Thank you for watching until the end. Wishing you peace, happiness, and the love you truly deserve. See you in the next story.